So I was just at the drugstore dropping off a prescription. Then I wandered into the nail polish aisle, which is dangerous. And so I like tried all these different ones for fun. Apparently I'm feeling like pink and sparkly. That's what I need. And I don't really have pink and sparkly. Like I've just always been like kind of like a moody, dark nail polish kind of girl. But apparently I want something pink and sparkly. So I didn't buy anything because I'm really indecisive. Also I don't need nail polish. But I might go back later and get some. We'll see. Anyways, so hi friends, I'm Felicia. Welcome back to my channel. I feel like you're really close. So today I would like to do my February wrap up. I read 9 books in February, which is pretty good. And so the thing that I'm realizing about my reading is that I am reading lots of audiobooks, which is crazy. So out of the 9 books that I read, I only finished 3 of them physically. But yeah, so anyways, let's talk about them. I don't have a lot of time. Chris is going to be home from work soon, and I thought I would just quickly do this before he got home. He'll probably get home before I finish this. Anyways, let's just go. So the first book that I finished is a book called Manage Your Day Today and it's compiled by Jocelyn K. Glei. And it's basically just a compilation of productivity tips from like people that are well known for being productive, I guess. Like business people and entrepreneurs and influencers and stuff, whatever. And this was a book that I got on Kindle 5 years ago. Part of my 5-year challenge, that's why I read it, and I thought there were some good things. So basically, you know, if you want to be more productive in your day, there's probably some tips in here that'll be good for you. The thing that I took away from this book was just like breaking down my goals into more actionable steps, because I tend to just have like a big goal and then it's like, okay, well, how do I go about this every day trying to reach it? So that's kind of what I got from that book. It was good. It wasn't really anything like revolutionary. It was more like just like a nice reminder or refresher. The next book that I read was A Study in Scarlet by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, narrated by Stephen Fry. So basically I am gonna try to listen to the whole entire Ultimate Sherlock Holmes collection narrated by Stephen Fry on Audible. So I have 1 book down. I think there's 9. But yeah, this is actually like the first time I've really read Sherlock Holmes. I think I've read like a few of the shorter stories, but like this is like my first intentional, I'm gonna read Sherlock Holmes now. And I quite enjoyed it. I'm familiar with the BBC version of Sherlock, so I know kind of the story from that, but I had forgotten like the main plot points. So it was very interesting. I did like Sherlock Holmes. It's good. So I enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to reading more, listening to more of the books throughout the year. I hope to finish them all this year yet. We will see. It's like 75 hours on audio, so. The next book that I finished is called Cherish, and that is by Gary L. Thomas. And that is a marriage book, and it's about cherishing your spouse and how that is the key to take your marriage from good to like even better, just to like elevate your marriage, I guess. And I thoroughly enjoyed this one. I really appreciated the points that he was making and the way that he balanced it from like things that you can do, but also like it's not totally 100% your responsibility to make your marriage good. You know what I mean? Like, do what you can, maybe do a little bit more than what you think you can, but like also if you're doing this and your spouse isn't responding to this in like a healthy way, and like also trying to rise up and cherish you back, then like that's not your fault. So I really appreciated that. But I also like the way that he challenges you to like, yeah, like, I forget the reference, but like he mentions the verse in the Bible, in the New Testament, about like trying to outdo each other with honoring one another. And like that's kind of like his idea for marriage. Like, how can I just totally rock my wife's world today? Like that's how he was approaching things. And I'm like, that's kind of nice. Like, yeah, what can I do for my husband every day that just like is gonna rock his world? And like stuff like that. So yeah, I really liked it. I will definitely be reading this book again. Would highly recommend it if you're married. And so my challenge to read 6 marriage books this year is off to a good start. And I also listened to that on audio, and it was narrated by the author. I also listened to The Manage Your Day Today on audio, and I don't remember who the narrators were. Yeah, sorry. They weren't the best, so it's okay. The next book that I finished is The History of Bees by Maya Lunda, and that is actually a book translated from Norwegian. So go me. I'm actually reading like a translated work of fiction. Okay, so like I struggled with this book, with my feelings about it, because it has so many elements of things that I love in books, but I didn't end up loving it. But I didn't hate it, but there was nothing that I actively enjoyed about it. So it's a book about the history of bees. So we follow 3 characters in 3 different times. So there is what is he called? Like a natural scientist in the 1800s. Then we follow a farmer, a bee farmer. That's not what it's called, but like he raises bees on a commercial scale for pollination purposes. Not necessarily just honey. In like 2007. And then we follow someone that lives in China in like 2097 or something. And bees have gone extinct, and so she works in an orchard doing hand pollination. The bee farmer in 2007 lives in the States, and the natural scientist lives in England in the 1800s. So each chapter follows one of them and their storyline, and like eventually at the end they do come together, which I love books that span generations, follow different characters in these generations, and then ties them all together at the end. Love it. But yeah, like, okay, so like for me, characters are very important, and I didn't like any of these characters. They were all just like really shallow, and none of them really had any redeeming points to make you like them. Like they were all kind of unlikable, at least to me. They all had really bad marriages. Like they just didn't care about their marriages apparently. And there were 2 weird scenes of a sexual nature. Like thinking about it later, I can kind of see what they represent about the characters, but they were weird and they made me feel uncomfortable. And I'm just going to leave it at that. You can ask me about it if you want to know, but I don't want to tell you. Because I'm not putting... This is a family-friendly channel, okay? So, there was that. And then, like... So, yeah. There was nothing about this book that made me... that I actively enjoyed. Like, everything was just kind of like, uncomfortable. But then I still rated it 3 stars because I didn't hate it. Like, maybe 2.5 is more accurate. Like, I don't know. Makes me kind of disappointed because I bought the next book by that author. Her latest novel is called The End of the Ocean, and I bought it based on the cover. And so, like, now having read The History of Bees, I'm, like, kind of regretting it. it, but the cover is so beautiful. But I'm kind of regretting it, and like, what if I hate it? I really hope that this book is better, because I just really need it to be better than this one. But yeah, like, I wouldn't really recommend it. I don't know. You know, no, I don't really recommend it. But like, if you're interested, check out. But like, man, I wish it had been better. And I can't tell you like what it, yeah. I'm going to stop talking about it now, because I only have a few more minutes, probably. Okay, I'm running out of time. Okay, so the next book that I finished is a book called Let's All Be Brave by Annie F. Downs. And I forget who the narrator is, but I don't think it was narrated by the author. And this is just kind of like a non-fiction kind of memoir and kind of motivational book. So basically each chapter is kind of outlining a different way that you can be brave. You can be brave by saying yes to something. You can be brave by saying no to something. You can be brave by just like changing something, or like all these different things. And then she kind of writes a little bit about that, and then she tells stories from her own life, like as examples. So it's kind of like memoir and like also motivational. I really liked it. I like her writing style. I found it really approachable. And just felt like really comfortable to read, I guess. Yeah, I just really liked it. I definitely want to read more from Annie Downs. I think that she's a really good writer, and I felt kind of motivated. Like, I could feel, as I was listening to it, I could feel like kind of that stirring, like, hoo, I want to do something like exciting and brave. And unfortunately, the thing that I want to be brave about also involves my husband being brave. So I can't force him to do it. But anyways, so that's neither here nor there. So I really, really, really like this book, and I would definitely read it again, and more Annie Downs in the future. And this was also on my 5-year project. So then the next book that I read was The Centurions Wife by Jeanette Oke and Davis Bunn. And this is a Christian historical fiction romance. But actually the romance is like not the central focus. Hi, Storm. Yes, hi, welcome. She's sniffing the tripod. So this is set immediately following Jesus's crucifixion, and it follows, they take characters, like unnamed characters mentioned in that narrative in the Bible, like a centurion whose servant was healed, Pilate's wife's servant, and like characters like that. But then also like Mary and Martha are in there as like side characters. So like these unnamed characters are the main characters, and it basically takes like all of these events and like ties it together. Like ties it together with events happening in the crucifixion and resurrection and like up to Pentecost. So yeah, I actually like this. I thought it was going to be kind of lame, and I actually enjoyed it. Like, it was only 3 stars. Like, it was just in the middle. It wasn't amazing, but I did actually enjoy the story and where it went. And I was surprised that the romance wasn't the main focus. So it's it's about the centurion and the Pilate's wife's servant, who I think is also their niece. I think something. I missed a little bit. I'm not quite sure about the connection, but anyways, they Pilate arranges their marriage, so it kind of follows that, and like up to their they get betrothed and everything. But yeah, I thought that would be like the main part, and it's not actually the main part. The main part is actually like their faith journeys, and so yeah, I just liked it. I liked it more than I thought I would. So that's cool. Okay, thank you. Storm's sitting on my book. The next book that I finished was part of the Analog 2020. So I read Anne of Avonlea. Like, yes. Okay. And this is my beautiful edition published by Tundra Books. Hello, washing machine? Okay. Published by Tundra Books. Illustrated by Ellie Mackay. Love it. So check out that gorgeousness. Yeah, this is the second book in the Anne series. One of my favorite things of all time. Anne is a teenager. She's a young woman. She's learning about herself. It's very exciting. And basically this book is perfect, except, as I said in my Goodreads review, the thing that bothers me every single time I read this is that the character of Dora has the personality of a potato, and I find that very upsetting. I would like to know more about Dora and who she is, and she cannot be as aggressively boring as Ellen Montgomery has written her. Like, I refuse to believe that someone that boring would be related to Davy and would, like, live with Anne. Like, there's no way. So, that's my gripe with this book, but, like, it's not even a real gripe because otherwise it's perfect. So there's that, yes. The next book that I read, Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. I listened to the audiobook within 24 hours because it was so good. This book was huge when it came out. Like, it was absolutely enormous. And Blake Crouch had a new book that came out last year, and that was also enormous. 2016. 2017? 2016. 2016 and 2017 it says. I'm confused. Anyways, so this is like a really twisty sci-fi thriller kind of, I guess. I don't read thrillers. I don't know if this is considered a thriller. You are so cute. Oh my gosh. Hi. Storm has laid down on the desk and she just looks so puffy and cute. You're so cute. Okay, anyways. I loved it. This book is so insane. Like, wow. My brain was exploding. My brother-in-law has been nagging me to read this book for a few years already. Also, my sister-in-law. And so we started a little group chat. Just the three of us. Basically, so that when I read this book, we could talk about it. So it follows a man who has a really nice life. He had the potential to be like this really famous scientist and make like these huge discoveries, but but instead he chose to be like a family man and be there for his wife and his son. And so he ends up just being like a teacher or professor at not even like a huge college, just like a regular college. And one day his life changes and he gets to see what his life would have been if the paths had not diverged at this point. The storm is so loud. You can probably hear her breathing. She's just breathing. Yeah. But yeah. So the twists and the turns that this book took me on, I was just like, dude, I am here. What's happening? Let's go. And there were some things that, like, a couple things that I guessed at, and I was right, but still when they happened, I was like, whoa, what? So I just thought this was so good. There is, like, there's profanity, not excessive, but it's present, and there's also a few, like, closed door sex scenes with a married couple. So, like, if you need to know that, there it is. But yeah, I love this so much. Oh my goodness. Like, it was just insane. I've been thinking about this a lot since I finished it. Like, it's so good. And then the last book that I finished in February. What month am I talking about? February. It's Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. This was my first time reading this book. And, like, I barely even knew what the story was about. So, like, who am I? Finally catching up to 2020, that's what. Do I need to tell you the plot? I mean, like, I kind of knew, but I didn't know, but, like, I feel like everyone else knows. So, this was just, like, this was really good. I was kind of surprised at how, like, slow and everyday the story felt. For, like, the first third, I guess I assumed there would be, like, more things happening. But, and then also they were like so obsessed with Boo Radley, like just calm down, children. But yeah, I liked it a lot. The last 2/3 of the book, I liked it a lot. And like, I can definitely see how this is a classic and how it's endured for so long, and like why people want to teach it in school. I didn't ever end up getting assigned this book in school, so that's probably why I never read it. But I don't even know if I would have appreciated it in school. But like now I appreciate it. And the thing that surprised me so much, like the main theme in this book is racism in the 1930s in the South. But like some of the things that I was reading, I was like, this is like 85 years ago. I mean, it's fiction, but still 85 years ago. And things don't really feel super different. Like, yes, they are different, but like some of those attitudes and like those ways of treating like black people or people of color in general, those are not all gone, which is like, hello, can we do better, please? Yeah, so that was like unsettling, very unsettling, and like made me sad. But overall, like, really like this book. And now I'm wondering, like, should I read Go Set a Watchman? Are you okay? Do you have the hiccups? Okay, you're okay. I think she has the hiccups, which is funny. Yeah. Do you have the hiccups? That looks so weird. Okay, anyways, yeah, I'm like, should I read Go Set a Watchman? I don't know. I haven't heard like spectacular things about it, but like I'm curious about what the story is. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Tell me if I should read it or not. Those are the books that I read in February. I would love to know if you've read them, if you have thoughts about them, if you think that I should read Go Set a Watchman, or, you know, any other thoughts. If you have really good marriage books to recommend, let me know. I really enjoyed the one that I read so far. And yeah, so that's all that I have for today. So leave your thoughts down below, leave a comment, like this video if you liked it, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. That would be really cool. Thanks. I love you. And yeah, so until next time, so long, and thanks for all the fish.